We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 1. What do we know about the first 8 questions of Section 1? They're incredibly easy, so this level of difficulty here is incredibly easy. For a particular machine that produces beads, 29 out of 100 beads it produces have a defect. A bead produced by the machine will be selected at random. What's the probability of selecting a bead that has a defect? So the first thing we want to note here is this is a crappy machine if like 29 beads out of 100 are defective, but that's the answer, isn't it? 29 out of 100 beads are defective. The things you want over the total number of things that can happen, that's probability. That's the answer. It's C. Get this question right in 2 seconds and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 2. What's the level of difficulty here? It's very easy. Remember, the first 7 or 8 questions on Section 1 are always incredibly easy. You got this equation. The equation gives the speed s in miles per hour of a certain car t seconds after it began to accelerate. What's the speed in miles per hour of the car 5 seconds after it began to accelerate? So the story doesn't really matter here. You've got this equation. And Evil Testing Service is telling you what t is. What's t? It's 5. So just plug in 5 for t. You got 40 plus 3 times 5. What's that? That's 15. So what's the speed? It's 55. Couldn't be easier. Answer's D. Get this right very quickly. Just be careful. Not allowed to miss any easy questions, and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 3. What's the level of difficulty here? It's easy. It's really easy. 4x equals 3. What's the value of 24x? So write down what you're looking for, 24x, circle it. The easiest way to do this is just to do the algebra. And I say that because the Evil Testing Service explanation suggests that you can do some like ridiculous thing. Don't do that. Just do this. What's x when you divide both sides by 4? It's 3/4. So now you're just going to say 24 times 3/4. You can put that in your calculator, or if you want to, you can do it on paper. You can divide or reduce by 4, and you're just going to get 18. It's C. You get it right real quick and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 4. What's the level of difficulty here? It's a very easy question. Easy questions have easy answers. The scatter plot shows the relationship between two variables x and y. A line of best fit is also shown. There's the line of best fit. Which of the following equations best represents the line of best fit shown? So we're looking for the equation that works. Guys, all this problem is y equals mx plus b. Don't worry about the y's and the x's. It's an easy question. It's got an easy answer. All you need to be concerned with is m and b. What are m and b? M is the slope. So let's start there. What about this slope? Can you say anything about it? Like, is it positive or negative? It's definitely positive. So write down A, B, C, D, and let's cross off any answer choices that have negative slopes. Hey, C and D, man, those are negative x's. So they can't be right. So cross them out. All right, let's go to the B. What is B? It's the y-intercept, which means where the line crosses the y-axis. Where is it? Right here. It's like 3 and something maybe. Is it positive or negative? Well, again, it's definitely positive. So between A and B, does anything say negative? Yeah, B says negative. So that's gone. So the answer is A. It's a simple 2-step process. You get it right real quick and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 5. What's the level of difficulty here? It's easy. The first 7 questions or so of any Section 1 are always going to be easy. You're not allowed to miss them. Of 300,000 paper clips, 234,000 are size large. What percentage of the paper clips are size large? So what are we looking for? The easiest way to do this problem is to ballpark. Just write down A, B, C, D. Just generally speaking, is 234,000 half, more than half, less than half of 300,000? It's more than half, so that means that A and B are gone. And then what would be 2/3 of 300,000? 66%. Be 200,000, right? It's more than that, so it's D. If you want to do the real math, you can. 234,000 is what percent? What percent of 300,000? I'm going to put this 300,000 over 1 so that I can see that I can reduce, or you could just pretty much put it in your calculator. But 234,000 equals 3,000x divided by 3,000 on both sides. Okay, this all goes away. Can divide through, get all these zeros out of here. 234 divided by 3, got to put that in your calculator, 78. But once again, it's easiest to ballpark. Get this question right in 2 seconds and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math, Section 1, Question 6. What's the level of difficulty here? It's easy. Got a table. The table shows 3 values of x and their corresponding values of y. There's a linear relationship between x and y. Which of the following equations represents this relationship? I'm going to write down A, B, C, D. I'm going to cross off these answer choices. And when I look at the answer choices, what do I see? I see y equals mx plus b. All right, what's the easiest things here? M and b. What's b? It's the y-intercept. And what's the y-intercept? The y-intercept is when x equals 0. Do we know when x equals 0 here? We do. So what's the y-intercept? 18. So the thing it has to be here is 18. So let's go and cross off any answer choices that aren't 18. That's A and C. All right, cool. What's the other thing we got to figure out here? The y's and the x's can go on forever. It's m. What's m? It's slope. All right, what's the deal for slope? It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can use any 2 points you want. You don't really need to draw a chart, but I'm gonna. I don't want to use the 0 point. I'm going to use 1 and 13 and 2 and 8. Okay, so y2 minus y1, let's make that 13 minus 8. That's 5 over, since I started with 13, I got to start with 1. 1 minus 2, that's negative 1. So that's negative 5. So the slope is negative 5. So let's look at B. B says 18. D says negative 5. That's the answer. It does take a little work, but it is not in any way hard. Easy problem. Get it right and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 7. What's the level of difficulty here? It's easy. The function f is defined by f of x equals x squared plus x plus 71. What's the value of f of 2? So we're looking for f of 2. Functions can get really hairy on the SAT, but not when they're easy. It's an easy question. What do you got to do here? All you got to do is do 2 in this function. You got to follow the directions. So every time you see an x, you're going to put in a 2. I'm going to write the function. You don't really have to. X squared, 2 squared, so 4, plus x, 2, plus 71. You can put that in your calculator if you want. Don't really have to. 77. Couldn't be easier. Functions are just following directions. If you can follow directions, you can get them all right and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 8. What's the level of difficulty here? This is probably the first medium question. Which expression is equivalent to this big old mess where m, q, and z are positive? All right, I'm assuming that you came here because you're a little rusty on this exponent stuff or you don't know it. The way to remember how to do this is to think about PEMDAS. And what you're going to do is you're going to go down in PEMDAS when you're doing exponents. So if you're doing exponent to an exponent, you're going to multiply. If you're multiplying exponents, you're going to add. Multiplying is like addition. And if you're dividing exponents, you're going to subtract. That's all there is to it. I'm going to write A, B, C, D because I know that I'm going to cross off here. I got to rewrite this mess. It sucks. You might be able to get away with not writing things, but I find that writing it down really, really helps you keep track of stuff. Take it one step at a time, one letter at a time. So what are we doing here? We are multiplying, right? If you had 4, this thing, it would be 4 times 3. So we're just multiplying these two things. All right? So it's m to the 4th times m. What do? We add it. So it's m to the 5th. Now before we do anything else, let's go and see if we can cross off any answer choices. A has m to the 4th. That's gone. B, m to the 5th. C, m to the 6th. D, m to the 20th. We are done. If we want to check it, because we just don't feel confident with that, q to the 4th, q to the 5th. We're multiplying, so we add. That's q to the 9th. There it is, right? It's also the only answer choice that has q to the 9th in it. So B's the answer. You can get this right incredibly quickly, as long as you know these rules, and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 9. What's the level of difficulty here? We're squarely in medium land. It's not hard, just takes more work. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle XYZ, where A, B, and C correspond to X, Y, and Z, respectively. In triangle ABC, the length of AB is 170, and the length of BC is 850. In triangle XYZ, the length of YZ is 60. What's the length of XY? So we're looking for XY length. We got two problems here. We need to know what similar is, and we don't have any triangles to look at. Similar means same exact shape, different sizes. Great. Where are the figures? Not here, so we're going to draw them. Equal Testing Service tells us nothing about the shapes of the triangles, so we're just going to draw them like we're 5 years old. Doesn't have to be to scale. Here's ABC. Draw another triangle that looks just like it. And then corresponding to means this in the same places, so there's X, Y, Z. All right, cool. So in triangle ABC, AB is 170, BC is 850. In triangle XYZ, YZ is 60, and we are looking for XY. So let's visualize that. The way to solve this is with a proportion, and a proportion is a fraction, an equal sign, and another fraction. We're going to keep the stuff on top, and the stuff on bottom. So I'm going to put the big triangle on top. 850, that's this side right here, is the same as this side right here, 60, small triangle on bottom. Okay, big triangle on top, 170, that's this side right here, is the same as in the small triangle, I don't know, so it's X. Anytime I have a fraction, equal sign, fraction, I'm going to cross multiply, so it's just 850x equals 170 times 60. You're going to do that in your calculator. You're going to get 10,200. And then you're just going to divide both sides by 850 to get x by itself. And when you do that, you're going to get 10,200 divided by 850. And guys, that's 12. It's an easy problem. It just takes a lot of work. You got to draw stuff. You got to do steps. Get it right and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 10. What's the level of difficulty here? Squarely medium. If x over y equals 4 and 24x over ny equals 4, what's the value of n? So we're looking for n. Write it down and circle it. Is this problem a plug-in? Definitely. How do you know? Well, it's got letters crawling all over it. There's no constants. Just make stuff up. You can make up anything you want as long as you follow the rules of the problem. X over y's got to be 4, so easy. X equals 8, so y's got to be what? Y's got to be 2. 8 over 2 is 4. All right, so now we know what everything is, basically, except n. 24 times what? X is 8 over n times y, so that's 2n equals 4. All right, so I got to do 24 times 8 in my calculator. And I get 192 over 2n. At this point, I'm going to put 4 over 1, so I can see that I could cross multiply. I'm going to do it over here. I'm going to get 2n times 4, that's 8n equals 192. What do you do now? Divide both sides by 8. Do it on your calculator. And guys, it's 24. And it doesn't matter what numbers you plug in, as long as you plug in numbers that fit the rules, you're going to get 24. It's awesome. Plug in, get it right, move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 11. What's the level of difficulty here? It's medium. Got this function. The function W models the volume of liquid in milliliters in a container t seconds after it begins draining from a hole at the bottom. According to the model, what's the predicted volume draining from the container each second? All right, this is obviously a function. Remember that SAT functions love 0 and 1. Let's rewrite the function. What are the parts? This is the volume. And t's seconds. All you got to do is plug in. You can plug in anything that you want, but functions on the SAT love 0 and 1. So let's just plug in 0 for t, 0 time. What's going to happen? Well, it's going to be 300 minus what? 4 times 0, which is 0, so that's 300. So at time 0 seconds, what's going on? You got 300 volume, which makes sense, right? That's the start. All right, let's plug in 1. T equals 1. Run it again. 300 minus, this time t is 1, so it's 4 times 1, so 4. That's 296. So what happens after 1 second? What's the difference? It's 4. So how much is draining each second? 4. So the answer is D. Get this question right very quickly and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 12. What's the level of difficulty here? It is squarely medium. It is not hard. The graph of y equals f of x is shown, where function f is defined by this hairy mess, a, b, c, and d are constants. For how many values of x does f of x equal 0? So let's write down the question. And guys, Evil Testing Service is just counting on a freak factor here, because a lot of kids are going to look at this and they're like, oh man, I have no idea what's going on here. But this problem is really easy. It comes up very frequently, and once you know how to do it, it's just insane. So what do you know? You know that y equals f of x, and you know that f of x equals what in the question? 0. So what's y? Y is 0. All right, how many times does that happen? Well, y is 0 when it's on the x-axis. How many times does that happen? 1, 2, 3. That's it, man. This is a one-step problem. The answer is C. Get it right in 5 seconds and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 13. What's the level of difficulty here? It's medium. It's not hard. Got a function. You got a stupid story about the function. A conservation scientist implemented a program to reduce the population of a certain species in an area. The given function estimates this species' population X years after 2008, and X is less than or equal to 8. Which of the following is the best interpretation of 3000 in this context? Real important to write down the question here. What's 3000? Circle that. Okay. SAT functions love 0 and 1. If you're on the SAT, you encounter a function, you should think, can I plug in 0 or 1 here? Rewrite the function, and before I plug in, I want to know, what am I plugging in for? What is X? It's years after 2008. So if I make X 0, what year is it? It's 2008. And what's going to happen? Let's run it. So it's 3000 times 0.75 to the what? To the 0. What's anything to the 0 power? It's 1. So it's 3000 times 1, and that's 3000. All All right, so what's going on in 2008? 3,000. What's 3,000? It's 2008. It's going to go and cross off answer choices. Some of these answer choices are going to make 0 sense to us. The estimated percent decrease in the population for this species and area every 8 years after 2008 makes no sense to me. B, the estimated percent decrease in the population for this species and area each year after 2008. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Can't cross it out. C, the estimated population for this species and area 8 years after 2008. Doesn't make a lot of sense, not crossing it out. D, the estimated initial population for this species and area in 2008. That's what I found, right? 3,000 is what happens in 2008. So I know that's the answer when I get to it. The answer is D. This problem has a lot of words which I have to read. It does not take nearly as long as it took here to get this question right and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 14. What's the level of difficulty here? I say it's medium. Some people are going to find it hard because there's a formula that they're not going to know. But it's not very hard at all as long as you memorize the formula. You got this equation. The given equation relates the variables x and y. For what value of x does the value of y reach its minimum? So what are we looking for? Write it down and circle it. This is the quadratic equation. You've been doing quadratic equations since like 9th grade. What are quadratic equations for? They're for parabolas. A parabola reaches its minimum when it's at its lowest point. The formula couldn't be simpler. It's negative b over 2a. What are b and a? Well, again, you've been doing this for a long time. Quadratic equation is just ax squared plus bx plus c. Looks a lot like that. A x squared is this thing, so what's a? It's just 1. Bx is this thing, so what's b? It's negative 14. Don't even need to do c, it's not in this formula. Alright, so negative b, be slightly careful, that's negative 14, which is 14, over 2a, so 2 times 1, which is 2, anybody could do that, it's 7. So as long as you memorize this formula, put it in your calculator, otherwise know it, get this problem easily, and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 15. What's the level of difficulty here? Most people are going to find this hard, but not you, as long as you plug in. Square A has side lengths that are 166 times the side lengths of square B. The area of square A is k times the area of square B. What's the value of k? So what are we looking for? K, write it down and circle it. And how do you know this is a plug-in? Well, it's got letters in it, k, and then it's comparing two things, but we don't really know what like the side lengths of the things, the squares, are. So we can just make stuff up. We got two squares, square A and square B. Square A is bigger, a lot bigger. Square B is smaller. You could start with either one, but it is a lot easier to start plugging in on square B. What do you want the sides of square B to be? What's the best number to plug in the whole wide world? It's 2. 2 is really easy, really predictable. If you make the sides 2, what's the area of square B? It's easy, area is 4. Alright, square A has lengths that are 166 times the side lengths of square B. So what are the sides of square A? You're going to multiply 166 times 2. You're going to get 332. That's one side of square A. How do you find the area? Multiply 332 times 332. And you get the area, it's 110,224. Alright, square A is how many times the area of square B? That's what k is. You could set up an equation here, but all you got to do is divide 110,224 by 4. When you do that, you're going to get the answer, 27,556. And that's it. This is an easy problem if you plug in. and it doesn't take any time at all. Get it right and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 16. What's the level of difficulty here? It's supposed to be hard. We're in that area. But guys, this problem is medium. You've got two equations. The solution to the given system of equations is AB. What's the value of B? So right now what we're looking for, B. Guys, this problem is simultaneous equations. How do you know? Because you've got two equations. Simultaneous equations are always the same. You're going to stack them up, and then you're going to add or subtract. There can be wrinkles that make simultaneous equations problems hard, but there are 0 wrinkles here. You got to rewrite it because it's a digital test. Put a line under it, and then make sure to keep your terms lined up, your A's, your B's, your numbers. When you add or subtract, your goal is to make something go away. Here, if we subtract, we can just make the A's go away. 8B minus 4B, that's 4B, equals 198 minus 98. Do it on your calculator if you want, but that's just 100. You can divide both sides by 4, which you can probably also do in your head. B is 25. And hey, look, that's what you're looking for. That's the answer. You can get this right incredibly quick and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 17. What's the level of difficulty here? It's hard. In Section 1, questions start to get hard around 15 or 16. The function f is defined by f of x equals negative 8 times 2 to the x plus 22. What's the y-intercept of the graph of y equals f of x in the xy plane? So what are we looking for? Looking for y-intercept. I'm going to write that down and circle it. What's important about the y-intercept? Only one thing. Y-intercept is when x equals 0. What do you think the x-intercept is? That's when y equals 0. But we're looking for y-intercept, that's when x equals 0. So you've probably done this in your time. F of x is y in these equations. So it's y equals, just rewrite the equation. I'm going to write down more steps than you need here, just in case you want to see it. Y equals negative 8 times 2 to the what? What should we plug in here? Well, we want y-intercept, so we're going to plug in x equals 0. All right. Do it again. Y equals negative 8 times, what's anything to 0 power? It's 1. So this is 1. All right. I'm going to stop doing steps. What's negative 8 times 1? Negative 8. So y equals negative 8 plus 22. Don't be ashamed to use your calculator. That's 14. Not quite done, because we want to make sure that over here, what do we want y to be? Y is 14. And over here, these are just x and y. So which one of these answer choices says y is 14? A. You get this question right real quick and real methodical, and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 18. What's the level of difficulty here? It's definitely hard. Two variables x and y are related such that for each increase of 1 in the value of x, the value of y increases by a factor of 4. When x equals 0, y equals 200. Which equation represents this relationship? So the question's real simple. Which equation? This first sentence is real hard. It's complex. Words are hard. Maybe it matters, but Evil Testing Service tells you when x is 0, y is 200. So let's just try those numbers out. See what happens. A says y, that's 200, equals 4 times x, that's 0, to the 200. All right, what is 0 to the anything? It's just 0. So it says 200 equals 4 times 0, which is 0. Is that true? It's not true. So it can't be right. It's gone. All right, y, 200, equals 4 times 200 to the what? X is 0. What's anything to the 0 power? It's 1. So this is 200 equals 4 times 200 to the 0, which is 1. So 4 times 1, that's 4. Does 200 equal 4? Not true. Gone. Y, still 200. 200 equals 200 times what's x? Still 0 to the 4th. 0 to the anything is what? 0. So this is 200 equals 200 times 0, which is 200 equals 0. Is that true? Not true. Go on. All right, let's see if the last one works. Y 200 equals 200 times 4 to the x. What's x? 0. All right, what's anything with 0 power? It's 1. So this is 200 equals 200 times 4 to the 0 power, which is 1. So 1. So 200 times 1, that's 200. That works. That's the answer. This first sentence didn't matter. All we had to do is plug in these numbers, get it right, and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 19. What's the level of difficulty here? It's definitely hard. Most people are going to look at this thing and think it's stupid hard, crazy stupid hard. What's the value of sine 42 pi? Most kids are going to be like, I have no idea. Guys, this is a simple calculator problem. The SAT has a calculator on it, and all you got to do is punch the numbers in. I know this is pretty primitive looking, but I couldn't copy the SAT test. It wouldn't let me, so I had to do it like kind of ninja-like. This is step 1. This is step 2. This is step 3. And this is step 4. And it's just literally punching numbers in a calculator. Step 1, you go to the calculator that's on the SAT. You could also use your calculator. Step 2, you type in sine, S-I-N, space, 42. Step 3, you can write in pi, or you can click on the little pi thing. It's going to put pi here. And when you do that, it's going to say equals 0. Guess what? That's the answer. It's A. Couldn't be simpler. A 6-year-old could do it if they just knew how to do the steps on the calculator. Before you go, if you run into a calculator problem or a problem like this and you're not sure what to do, you can improve your odds of getting it right by crossing off answer choices that are normal looking and picking the weird one. 0 is always weird. 0 is a weird number. Anything times 0 is 0. You can't even divide by 0. It's very strange. So you wouldn't cross that off if you were looking to pick the weird one. A half is nice and normal. This thing, obviously nutty looking. D, 1, nice and normal. So if you're going to guess randomly, pick the weird one and guess between A and C. But for the last time, calculator's there. It's 4 simple steps, and you can get right to the answer, and it takes like 15 seconds. Get it right and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 20. What's the level of difficulty here? It's definitely hard. These kinds of problems are kind of good news and bad news. The bad news is the first time you see a problem like this one, it's going to look really hard. The good news is they're actually really manageable, and if you just practice a couple times, I promise they're going to be easier, and they're all pretty much the same. So you got 2 equations. In the given system of equations, h is a constant. If the system has no solutions, what's the value of h? So we're looking for h, write it down and circle it. And then this problem is simultaneous equations. How do you know? Because you got 2 equations. When you see simultaneous equations, it's always the same. You're going to stack them up, and you're going to add them or subtract them. This problem is also about no solution. What's that? No solution means all the variables go away. I have double underlined variables. H isn't a variable. H is a constant. Constant just means ETS knows what it is, and they're hiding it from you. X and Y are the variables. All right, so let's write down the first equation. And then probably your algebra teacher taught you, pretty good idea, to get all the variables on one side of an equation, all the numbers on the other side. So let's do that. 4x minus 9y minus 9y minus 18y. And then for the second equation, I'm going to put it over here, and we want it to look in the same form as the equation we just did. So I'm going to take 4x, I'm going to move it across the equal sign, so it's going to be negative 4x. I'm going to put that under this equation. The y's in the exact same place I want it to be, so plus hy, and then equals the 2's in the right place, 2. Okay, I'm going to put a line under this, and now I just want to add or subtract. And when I add or subtract, I want to make something go away. So if I add these, I can make the x's go away. 4x plus minus 4x, right? That's just 4x minus 4x. So this is 0x. So that's good, because I want no solution. I want my variables to go away. So negative 18y plus what is going to make the y's go away? It's going to be 18. Negative 18 plus 18, that's going to give me 0y. So I want h to be 18. If I do that, my y's go away, and I've got no x's and I've got no y's, so I've got no solution. So h is 18, and it's D. Get it right in a few steps and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 21. What's the level of difficulty here? It's definitely hard. A lot of people are going to look at this thing and think, oh man, this is like crazy hard, but it's really not that bad if you just put your pencil into it and start going to work. Got this equation. One solution to the given equation can be written as 1 plus root k. K is a constant. What's the value of k? So what are we looking for? We're looking for k. It's a constant. We cannot plug in for it. A constant is just evil testing services like hiding a number from you. You have to figure out what it is. So start by rewriting the equation. And then what does one solution mean? What's a solution? A solution in an equation is what the letter is. So one of the things that x is 1 plus root k. So every time you see an x, what should you put in? 1 plus root k. So x squared, that's unfortunately 1 plus root k times 1 plus root k. Minus 2 times what? There's x again, so 1 plus root k. Minus 9 equals 0. All right, looks ugly, but there'll be good news if you just work through it. You got to FOIL this out. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times root k is plus root k, and then root k times 1 is root k again. So how many root k's? It's plus 2 root k, and then root k times root k, what's that? That's just k. Minus 2 times 1, 2. Be careful here. Minus 2 times root k. It's a minus 2 root k, don't forget about minus 9, equals 0. All right, here's the good news. Look at this. Plus 2 root k, minus 2 root k. Those are gone. They don't matter. And now you've got a pretty simple equation. You just got k here on the left, and if you move the numbers to the right, minus 9 becomes plus 9, minus 2 becomes plus 2, and then the 1, it becomes a minus 1. So k is just 9 plus 2, which is 11, minus 1, which is 10. And the answer is 10. So it's B. You plug through it, you get it right, and you move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 10, Math Section 1, Question 22. What's the level of difficulty here? This question is crazy, stupid hard. It's brutal. Up until now, questions 1 to 21 really haven't been that bad, section 1. But this one is really hard. Got this silly looking equation. In the given equation, c is a positive constant. Which of the following is one of the solutions to the given equation? So what are we looking for? We're looking for a solution. Before we start, let's just say that you don't have a lot of time, or let's say that you don't have any idea what to do, which is going to be some people, maybe a lot of people. Is there a strategy? And as usual, there is, and it's always the same strategy. At the very, very end of the test, you can pick the weird one, because Evil Testing Service wants everybody to get this question wrong. They don't want anybody to accidentally get it right. And so what they do is they put in some really appealing looking answers. And really appealing looking answers are easy answers. So all of these answer choices are weird in some way, but relative to each other, what's the easiest looking one? And I think you gotta agree it's A. And then if you were guessing here, what's the next easiest looking one? I think you gotta agree it's B. So if you're gonna guess Guess between C and D because those are the weird ones. As far as actually how to do this problem, you cannot plug in on this problem. C is a positive constant, and most of the time, when you have constants, that's evil testing service preventing you from plugging in. So you've got to do some algebra. So the first thing is you got to rewrite this nasty equation. That process in itself kind of sucks. If we're looking for a solution, what are we looking for? We're looking for x. So our goal is to get x by itself. Here's the first piece of good news. When you move the letters all to the left side, you just get x squared minus c squared over, this is the same thing on the bottom, right? So that's just like a fraction. You can put the tops over the same bottom. X squared minus c squared equals 39. All right, this sucks still. Why? It's because of this square root thing. That's what makes it really bad. How do you get rid of that? Well, you just square everything. If you square everything, I'm going to do it over here, you get what's x squared minus c squared squared. Just x squared minus c squared twice over, what's this thing squared? Square root of x squared minus c squared times square root of x squared minus c squared is just x squared minus c squared. Over here, don't forget, you got to square 39. All right, now what's going on? Well, one of these things on the top can go away, and you can reduce with one of them on the bottom. And now, it's a lot simpler to look at. It's just x squared minus c squared equals 39 squared. Now, any reasonable person is going to just say this is 1,521. But ETS is not reasonable, and note that they have 39 squared in the answer choices, so we're going to keep it as 39 squared. We're looking for x, so we want to get x by itself as much as we can. How do we do that? X squared equals, notice how c squared is in front here and behind here. I'm not sure where to put it. I'm going to put it first. It's going to be c squared plus 39 squared. All right, now, what do I do now? I got to get x by itself. How do I do that? Well, I just got to take the square root of both sides, and I get x equals the square root of c squared plus 39 squared. And I look at the answer choices, and I don't see that, but I see something really close to it. I see this, d, and then I remember, oh yeah, when I take the square root of something, it could be positive or negative. So the answer could be positive square root of c squared plus 39 squared, or it could be negative square root of c squared plus 39 squared. And so the answer is D. It's a brutal problem. You get it right, or you guess to the best of your ability, pick the weird one, and then you move on to section 2.